Hi, my name is Cheri, and you have come into my stamp studio. Today I'm going to be showing you a card that I'm going to be doing next week with my girls that come to my stamp camp. And stamp camp is a thing that I have had for more than 20 years because my daughter was a baby, literally a baby, when I started having them. And she's 25 now, so I've been having them for a long time. And I've had them almost every month for that long. So I've been doing them for a while. So if you're in the Indianapolis area and you'd want to come, you're more than welcome. You can message me. So this is one of, when I do stamp camp, we do usually a couple of, I'm not going to call them hard cards. Sometimes the girls might call them hard cards. But we do all kinds of levels of cards. So if you're a brand new stamper and you want to skip one of the more intricate cards, you're welcome to. But today's card's one of my easy ones because I always throw in at least one or two brainless cards. And sometimes they like to start with those, sometimes they like to end with those. But today I'm going to use a card that's out of our annual catalog, and this came out in June. And it always seems like it just gets going and then it's time for the holiday catalog. So if you don't have this catalog and you would like one and you're in the United States, let me know and I can send you one. And we are going to use one piece on this card that's out of the holiday catalog, and this starts in September. So if you don't have that, let me know and I can send you that. If you don't have either of them, then I can send them both together. But I'm going to use Garden Goodness because it's August in Indiana and our gardens are full of, I wish I had a tomato because that's really what my garden's super full of. But there's not, but I'm going to make it work. So I'm going to make a super quick birthday card with the Garden Goodness set. And what I really like about this set, if you can kind of see close up, it's what we call a distinctive set, which is something that's unique to Stampin' Up. So when you stamp with it, one stamp and you get all those fun colors. My cat's over there knocking my speakers off my computer table. So let's get going. Like I said, this is one of our quick stamp cards that we'll make at camp. So for this one, I'm going to use this foam mat. Is something that you can get in the catalog. It just helps when you're using the distinctive stamps if you stamp on that. Scrap paper, you can see I've already been using it for my cards. So our card's going to be espresso is our background because it's going to be espresso and you might want to be able to write in it. Sometimes people don't like to write much in their cards, so then they like to have a dark color because you can just write. So I'm going to put this on the inside. So it's going to be a nice hefty little card. I like when they feel like they've got some weight to them. And then we're going to have mango, and then we're going to have our top card, and then we're going to have a little punch for our saying. So let's get the pieces out that we're going to stamp on. And then I just got some colors of the fruit. So we're going to make like a background, which is always nice too when you're at camp and you want a thoughtless card. Because this, we're just going to make a bunch of stamps all over it. This is Old Olive. Get my coffee out of the way. Because you don't really have to think. So the secret to using a distinctive stamp is not to get too much ink on it. So just lightly tap. You don't want to smash. And here's my avocado. And so you're just going to get something stuck to it. You just want to make sure all your things don't go the same way either. So just pretend like you're making a piece of like background paper. And it would be kind of all random. If you're not going to go all random, then you kind of want to go all the same. I'm going to go all random. So there we've got some avocados. And you can see I have double mounted my stamps. So I have the avocado seed there. So let's get some soft suede. And when you're doing something where you're going to fill up a whole piece of paper, then start with your largest image. And you're going to really see on this soft suede, see how you have that nice colors. And again, just tap, tap, tap. Anytime you've got a giant stamp and you've got just a little tiny stamp mounted in the corner, a stamp block, be careful not to rock it because you don't want to get ink all over your block. So just barely press, which is also good for these distinctive stamps. Then you're not going to get too much ink on them. Got something on this one too. Okay, but just a little bit, and then if you're getting it on your block, then you're getting too much ink. So this is a good way to make sure we're not getting too much. I don't know what's on here. It's a little piece of glitter. Imagine that. I have glitter on my table. Now this one won't have a little piece of glitter in it. There we go. So we filled that up. But you can see you shouldn't, when you're done stamping, beginner's tip, you should not have ink on your block. The ink should stay on your stamps. So if you get ink on your block when you stamp, you're pressing too hard or you're wobbling it. Just press on your ink pad and lift up. There shouldn't be ink all over your everything else. Ink should stay on just the stamp. And that will just practice that, and then you'll be much more pleased with not only how clean you can keep your fingers, but how your cards look in the end. Then, because we're going to move to our next largest stamp, which is kind of a toss-up whether the pepper or the avocado is bigger, a capsicum if you live in Australia or the South Pacific. So I'm going to go to the capsicum pepper. Sometimes I say to my husband, I was going to get peppers, and he hates hot peppers, and he's from Australia, and he's like, are we having peppers? And I'm like, capsicum. He's lived here for 25 years, 24 years, and he still uses some Australian words. So with this one, I'm gonna have mango, and then I'm gonna take just ever so slightly, and you can see I did get red on this here, because this you're gonna just barely touch the edge. So I just want a little highlight of where this stayed in the garden for just a fraction too long. So the first time I'm going to just ink it there. The second time I'm going to go back to my mango pad and not put any more red. And it's just going to lighten it up. And again, you want a different direction. You don't want all your vegetables going the same way. So it just, that time it just gives it a little bit more. And then I'm going to get that red off. Again, mango. And then this time I'm going to do the other side. Or just a little bit different. So this time we got a little bit of red here. This is just really an artsy kind of thing, just to give another color. Because I really wanted a tomato stamp, and there wasn't one. So this is the ode to the red that's in our gardens right now. And this card, I intentionally don't have any anything that makes it so you can't give it to a guy. It's not a masculine card, but it could be. Because, you know, we like to have those in our stash. So you can, if you need a card to go to your uncle or your boss or a coworker that is a guy card, you got it. And so this is that. So now I'm going to go back to my suede and add my stem to the peppers. And they can be perfect if you would like them to be. On this card, because we're making a background, it doesn't really matter. And because you don't want to see the top of my head on camera, they're not going to be perfect because I can't see what I'm doing. But again, it doesn't matter because, and see, when you press too much, this is why people get such dirty hands when they stamp, because if you get ink on your blocks, then it ends up on your fingers. And you can see that's really poor job of stamping, but it's not going to matter. So if you think, oh, I really messed up because those stems don't match, it doesn't matter because they're going to get all, it's going to come together. Now I'm going to go with my peas. And these are just in pear pizzazz. And so everywhere where there's kind of a little empty spot, now that I'm to my smallest stamp, I'm just going to fill some of those in. And you don't want your whole entire card filled. You want to leave some vanilla. And you just want to make sure too that you get the edges. Gotten that one a little bit better. So we'll just go back. And then maybe one straight through here. So you're just kind of overlapping. If there's anywhere where you felt like you did a really awful job of stamping, just cover it up with your peas. We picked fresh peas this year, and that was maybe the best meal that we had all summer with our garden stuff. Although corns, there's not a corn stamp either, I just realized. Corn right now in Indiana is super, super, super fine. It's delicious. So here's our background piece. And every time it's going to look different, and it doesn't matter. So this is why it's the easy card at camp, because you can't mess this thing up. So now we're going to make our little, we're going to make two pieces. We'll do both at the same time. We're going to have our little saying, and then we're going to have the inside piece, which I could have done while I was stamping. Sometimes, you know, when you're talking, although this is what happens at camp, because they're all talking and everybody's having a good time. So everything doesn't happen necessarily in order. So this is the inside of my card. I'm just going to add one avocado. And this one, you do want it to be a little bit nicer, maybe, than the ones on the front, because it's just going to be a standalone avocado. So just put that, and then that's ready for the inside of our card. And you can see all the different colors of green and brown that you get just from one ink, just because that's a distinctive stamp. You want to make sure that your stamps aren't, like, you don't want to freshly re-ink them and then go to use these, because if there's too much ink on them, they don't work very well. Okay, now here's the secret with this saying. There are some words in this set, but I wanted a happy birthday, just a plain happy birthday card. So I'm going to use this little banner that comes in the set, and I'm going to stamp it second, because I'm going to use a happy birthday that is not photopolymer, which means you can't see through it. So I'm going to stamp my happy birthday first in some red. That's part of the other reason I put the red on the pepper, so it would pull into my happy birthday. And then I'm going to go back to the mango, and the reason I'm doing it second, because now I can see where I want this to go. If you did it the other way and you do this first, it's harder to know where you want the happy birthday to go, because you can't see through it. And now that's lined up perfect. So now we're almost finished with this super quick card. I'm going to take our little label punch here. And just, you always stamp first and punch second, because then you lay it in here upside down. And just stick it in here and punch that out, and then it's exactly where you want it to be. So because we did the birthday first, the banner second, and the punch last, it's all nice and straight in there. If you try to do this first and then put that happy birthday that you can't see, and then put the banner on it all backwards, it's not going to be as easy. So do it the easy way. Okay, now here's the piece that comes from the holiday catalog. I'm going to use the hammered metal, which if you've watched any of my other videos recently, I have used that. It's an embossing folder, and it's going to be available on September 4th. And you're going to have it because it's fabulous. So it's one of our 3D ones. So if you're going to need the blue plate, or you're going to have to figure out a shim if you just use the white plates. And then right side up, it looks like hammered metal. Right side up is Stampin' Up. Wrong side gives it more of like a petal, like a pressed river pebble kind of look. That's what I want. So I'm going to put it upside down. I did it both ways, and I liked it better this way. And then always go through seam side first, otherwise you can break your things, and it just takes one pass. So just a little one roll through your die machine, and it kind of gives it kind of the feel like some, if you've been to Italy or Italian restaurant, you know, kind of the Tuscan, kind of a Tuscany feel, Italian decorations. Now we just have to stick this all together. So let's get our inside. Stick that in there. And if you've watched me recently, you saw me run out of snail because I kept using it every time thinking I need to fill this up. And at least this time I remembered, because I use a different adhesive, one of our old ones that I've got lots of refills for when I'm not creating on camera. And then I go on camera and I'm like, yeah, I didn't refill that. So here's our inside, and now you can sign it. So then let's put this on here. And then because you're going to put this on here, if you have, again, a place where you feel, look, this is not my finest lining up, even when I didn't have my head on. So I'm going to put my thing there. Not that it matters when you're sticking this on. But this mango just really makes those peppers pop. Some jalapeno poppers, which then we are going to the peppers that my husband loves. That's why I guess he's always afraid I'm going to give him hot pepper. That's why he's always going, all right, do you mean a capsicum? Yes, honey. Okay, and then there's one final little touch. This is in the regular catalog, and it's called burlap ribbon. So it is a ribbon, and I know I said it's a guy card. Or it could be a guy card. And here's another little thing. We are going to use this at my camp, and we have a lot of girls coming. I don't have very much of this, and I don't have enough time to order. So we are just going to use a little bit. And this is another time, hashtag save your scraps. Save the scraps. You just need a little bit. So if you have some of this, if you've tied a ribbon and you had a little bit left, get it in a little jar, save your scraps, because this is all we need, just this much. So take your scissors, you have this much, and then tear these little threads in here. You don't want to tear the whole thing, because then you'll just have a bunch of rope falling on your table. So just fray that so you can see where it's frayed. Take this where my horrible, awful stem is. But see, it's awful, but it all can get covered up. put that there, and then this piece here holds it together. You can kind of spray that out as you want it. And then you're going to take some dimensionals, and the big ones would work better, and I just made this card, but I don't know where I put them. So the little ones work fine too. The big ones would only need 2. I'm going to put 3 because I have the tiny ones. But that also happens at camp. The dimensionals get moved from all the projects, and so we just go with whatever size. You can always use little ones. Sometimes you have to have little ones and you can't use a big one. So just stick this on here. So it's ribbon, but it kind of just gives it like a burlap sack feel. So that's easy. Here it is here. I mean, every time your background piece is going to look a little different, but I mean, the stamping is not crash hot on any of them, and you can be super tired. It can be the last camp project you do, and you could do a whole sheet too. That's the other nice thing with these kind of cards. Do your whole 8.5 by 11 sheet, cut it down into 4 pieces, and hardly any more time than we took to make this one. You've got 4 cards. And then the other thing that's great about this set, I'll pull it over here again for you. There's 2 of them. There's another matching one in the catalog. I can't remember what vegetables it has. There's another one that's very similar to this. But they're great if you are looking for ideas for people. So this one I just made, this is actually what we had for dinner 2 nights ago. So then I had leftovers for lunch and I took a picture of it. But we had Alfredo and peas, which is one of my very favorite dishes. You have to buy your fettuccine noodles. They have to say made in Italy, and they have to be the fat ones. Otherwise, I'm not going to tell you that it is going to be delicious. But I just made a little recipe card. So if you're looking for gifts for people, especially if you garden, because this one does say from my garden. So if you can or garden, you could make little gift tags. You can make recipe cards. If you like to make like guacamole, or you put things aside. But I know recipe cards, like if you take something, if somebody's had a baby, just throw the recipe card with it, a hand-stamped card instead of just an actual card, and then just write your greeting on the back. So then they have something to actually keep. And this is a perfect set for doing that. So all of the things that you will need to make this will be down below if you're on YouTube, or way down below if you are on my blog, with little links that you can click on. Or if you're on Facebook, you'll have to go to one of those 2 to find the links. But all of the things are on my website if you would like to purchase them. And still in August, if you would like to get all this stuff for free, because this is a very inexpensive project. If you join Stampin' Up! As part of my team right now, then they're giving you a bunch of free stuff on top of what you get already highly reduced as part of your starter kit. So I'd love to have you join me. We have a ton of fun on our team. And if you are a demonstrator, or if you're not a demonstrator, we have a holiday catalog kickoff online event coming up. And the registration for that ends in September. But we're going to have tons of fun online projects, and we'll send you all of the things that you need, the cardstock and stuff, to make it along with me and my girlfriends who do events together. So we'd love to have you join us for that too. So everybody have a great day, and go have some fettuccine. I wish I had some leftovers because it sounds delicious. Have a great day. Bye.